Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you are doing well. Yes, we've got lots and lots to talk about in today's show. It is going to be a busy one, so sit back and relax and enjoy the show. As you've seen from the thumbnail, we've got the story about Antony, and this is becoming international news. We'll look at this story in a lot more detail today and see what's going to come of this for Antony and for United. In today's show, we'll also talk about the Jadon Sancho story that keeps on growing. We'll discuss whether Manchester United are looking to sell Jadon Sancho to a Saudi club. And finally, we'll talk about Sofyan Amrabat and his first interview since signing for Manchester United. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So let's jump right into the show. So we kick off the show with Antony and this story around him and his ex-girlfriend and how she's alleged that he physically and mentally abused her while she was in a relationship with him not so long ago. Now, these are serious allegations that she's made, alleged abuse that took place very recently, this year in fact. These serious allegations were first made by Antony's ex-girlfriend in June of this year. It's also been confirmed that Antony's girlfriend in fact filed a police report with the Greater Manchester Police about Antony's behaviour and alleged abuse. Now, reading a little bit more about this case and Antony's ex-girlfriend, we found out that Antony's ex-girlfriend is not just a nobody, she's a celebrity within her own right. She is actually very famous in Brazil and South America. She's a DJ and a social media influencer. Now, the allegations that she has made against Antony are very serious and some would argue almost on the same par as Greenwood. Now, this story made international headlines this week when Brazil, his national team, decided to drop Antony from the squad because of these allegations made in Brazil by his ex-girlfriend. Now, despite Brazil dropping Antony from the international side, Manchester United are yet to make a call on this. In fact, they made a short statement yesterday confirming that they are aware of the allegations and they will await the conclusion of the police inquiry. Now, the timing of this Antony case could not be any worse. They've just dealt with the Mason Greenwood issue, finally getting him off their backs and sending him out on loan, thinking that is the end of the matter, and suddenly they get Antony dropping his case on them as well. Manchester United and Richard Arnold must be wondering what the hell is going on. There will be many fans and general public waiting to see how Manchester United now deal with the Antony case, having already dealt with the Mason Greenwood issue. Many people will be expecting Manchester United to deal with Antony in the same way they did with Greenwood. However, this will not be the case, it seems, from the outside in. You're looking in and you can see that Manchester United do not want to get rid of Antony. That'll be the worst case scenario where they have to sell Antony or suspend him or do anything of that sort. But if they do not deal with Antony in the same way they did Greenwood, there'll be lots of people queuing up to criticise Manchester United for their unequal treatment of players. There's also been concerning news reports coming out of the tabloid newspapers since yesterday alleging that Manchester United tried to cover up this story by Antony's girlfriend and did not want it to hit the media headlines. There's an article in the Mail Online that confirms that Antony's ex-girlfriend has alleged that Manchester United and the staff there tried to cover up this whole story of this abuse that she was suffering from. Now, if this is the case, and it is proven that there were staff at Manchester United trying to cover up the story, this is going to be really damaging for Manchester United as a club and the management at Manchester United. It's clear that Manchester United have set a precedent with dealing with Mason Greenwood and they have to follow this through with Antony. Now, they've dug a huge hole for themselves because of the way they've dealt with the Greenwood issue. Whether we like it or not, Greenwood was not tried in court and was not found guilty of any of the allegations made against him. Yet, a few weeks ago, Manchester United made the decision not to allow Greenwood to return to the club. And now Manchester United and the management have snookered themselves with the case of Antony. How do they deal with this case? If they do not deal with it in the same manner and in the same approach as they dealt with the Greenwood case, everyone's going to come out and criticise Manchester United and its board for having double standards with different players. Why would one player be excluded from the club, yet in the other player's case, you will keep him? This is a really difficult situation for Manchester United, and it'll be really interesting to see how Manchester United actually deal with this going forward. And this entire case of Antony has reopened the wounds of Mason Greenwood, and many fans and general public have now started questioning how Manchester United in fact dealt with the Mason Greenwood issue and why Manchester United made that decision in the end. Let's quickly go through the article by the Mail Online about the whole Antony case and see what it actually entails. Now, this article was written by Chris Wheeler, a journalist within the British media who is very respected and has good links and sources throughout Manchester United. And he writes, Manchester United are accused of covering up the 85 million star Antony's assault allegations by his ex-girlfriend's lawyers, as she leaks WhatsApp messages and claims she was treated by team doctors, but club insist her claims are categorically false. Manchester United have been accused of trying to cover up allegations that Brazil star Antony attacked his ex-girlfriend. The bombshell accusation has been made by Gabriela Cavallin and her lawyers to Sao Paulo Civil Police, who are investigating the allegations of assault alongside Greater Manchester Police. United described any suggestion of a cover-up as categorically false on Wednesday night. Cavallin claims that the club dispatched a player support officer to the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Manchester, where it is alleged that Antony assaulted his then girlfriend on January the 15th. She says that the 23-year-old headbutted her and then caused one of her breast implants to become dislodged by throwing her forcefully onto the bed and falling on top of her. She claims to have needed reconstructive surgery and also suffered a cut to her head. As you can see, these are serious allegations made by Antony's ex-girlfriend. These are not going to go away by simply ignoring them. Manchester United will have to deal with this head on. The article actually goes on to say, Cavallin's legal team alleged that the support officer tried to conceal the attack by calling a club doctor to assess her so that she would not go to a hospital and arouse any suspicion. Reports in Brazil on Wednesday claimed that they've asked Sao Paulo police to investigate the support officer's role in the incident, and lawyers have also requested CCTV footage from the hotel. If this support officer really did try and conceal this whole affair with Antony and his ex-girlfriend and the injuries that she suffered as a result of Antony's alleged abuse, this could be really serious for Manchester United as well. We'll carry on with the article. United confirmed on Wednesday night that a member of staff arranged for a private doctor to visit Cavallin at Antony's request, but denied that she was treated by any of the club's medical staff. It is understood to be common for United's welfare team to arrange for doctors to see partners and family members of players. United insist that neither the club or the sport officer were aware of any of the allegations of assault against Antony until they appeared in the Brazilian media in June. A statement read, "Any suggestion that the club covered up these allegations is categorically false. Antony has denied Cavallin's claims that he assaulted her on 4 occasions and volunteered himself for interview in June. United have also said they will cooperate with any police inquiries." The club have resisted calls for domestic abuse campaigners to suspend the player, although Erik ten Hag has the option to rest Antony and shield him from the spotlight when his team return to action against Brighton in 9 days' time. United issued a short statement on Wednesday night saying Manchester United acknowledged the allegations made against Antony and notes that the police are conducting inquiries. Pending further information, the club will be making no further comments. As a club, we're taking this matter seriously with consideration of the impact of these allegations and subsequent reporting will have on survivors of abuse. How United deal with this whole Antony saga is going to be very, very difficult for them because they can't win either way. If they do not take any action against Antony, they will be criticised for how they dealt with Mason Greenwood, and rightly so. If they do take action against Antony without him being found guilty, then where does this stop? How are you taking action against a player who's not been found guilty of the allegations made against him? And this precedent unfortunately has been set by Manchester United in the Mason Greenwood case. And in our opinion, Manchester United have got no choice but to take action against Antony on this case. Whether he's found guilty or not is no longer part of the equation. As we saw in Mason Greenwood's case, it's about public perception and the image of the club. And that is why Manchester United are now going to have to sit in the hole that they've dug with the Mason Greenwood case and sit there and do the same with Antony. It's very hard to see how they're not going to treat this in the same way. And as we explained in the opening of the show, Antony's ex-girlfriend is a credible source, and she's not someone who you'd expect to make up these stories and is not after any financial gain or anything like that. She is a credible witness, and now if this case goes any further into court, this is going to cause huge issues for Manchester United, and Manchester United will have no choice but to take Antony out of the squad whilst this case is ongoing. Let us know your thoughts on this case. What do you think Manchester United should be doing with Antony? How do you think they should be dealing with it? And have Manchester United now set a precedent that they must follow in every single case such as this? It's a situation that clearly Manchester United did not want to be in, and right now with the current squad of players, Manchester United are struggling with injuries and everything. They do not want any more players out of the squad, and Erik ten Hag will be fighting for Antony to stay in the squad. The statement released by Manchester United yesterday concerning the Antony case suggests that Manchester United and Erik ten Hag will continue playing Antony until he's found either guilty or not guilty of the alleged offences. And only after that point will they make a decision on Antony and his future at Manchester United. But there'll be many fans out there and the public waiting to see how Manchester United deal with this case and compare it to how they dealt with the Mason Greenwood case, and see if there's any differences on how Manchester United have approached Antony's case. But like we said, drop your comments below, let us know what you think of the case, let us know how you think Manchester United should be dealing with this case, and do you think Manchester United have now put themselves in a position where they have no choice? Do you think Manchester United are now in a position where they cannot backtrack and not deal with the case in the same way they dealt with Mason Greenwood's case? Moving on to another contentious issue surrounding Manchester United is Jadon Sancho and the fallout from his statement last Sunday after the Arsenal game against Ten Hag, essentially calling Ten Hag a liar for saying that he wasn't training well enough, when in Jadon Sancho's opinion he had been training really well that week and was doing well and committed to the club and the squad. Now overnight we've been getting lots of different reports saying that Manchester United are looking to offload Jadon Sancho if possible to a Saudi club. The Saudi transfer window is still currently open, and there is a small window of opportunity where they could sell Jadon Sancho right now to a Saudi club, but this is all dependent on an offer coming in, and a decent offer coming in for Jadon Sancho, and then everything getting done before the transfer window closes. We think this is very unlikely to happen. We think Manchester United will sit down with Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag and try to resolve this situation amicably. You've got to remember that powers at Manchester United, like the Glazers, like the CEO Richard Arnold, will not want to lose Jadon Sancho because he is a huge asset to Manchester United, and Manchester United financially cannot afford to lose another big player. One thing is clear is that Ten Hag is going to come down hard on Jadon Sancho. We don't know exactly what he's going to do, but he will want to prove a point to Jadon Sancho and to the rest of the squad to never mess with him, and I think that's really important. I think Ten Hag must do that to show the other players that they must respect him and that there is a hierarchy within the club and they have to respect the manager. Without such a hierarchy, I think there'll be complete turmoil and the players will be running the show, and you do not want that. You want there to be an absolute power structure, and you want Erik ten Hag to be on top of that power structure. What we're hearing from sources within Manchester United is that Jadon Sancho will be most likely staying at Manchester United until the January transfer window or the summer transfer window, at which point Manchester United can then sit back and see what options are open to Jadon Sancho and the club. Now, ending the show on some positive news, we finally got to hear from Sofyan Amrabat after signing for Manchester United. It was his first interview, and what an interview it was. It sent chills down your spine. Here are some short clips from that interview.
I really wanted to be here, to come. There was a lot of interest, and I think it was a long market because the last game was in June. So June, July, August, 3 months, very long 3 months, and I can't wait. I can't wait to start.
For the United fans who may not have seen much of you, how would you describe your style of play?
My style of play, I don't like to speak about myself. I want to show it on the pitch, but I can promise that I will I'll give my best, give everything, every day, every minute, every second. So yeah, that's the only thing what I can say now.
And Erik ten Hag, our manager, was also your manager at Utrecht. So how much of an influence was he on those early stages of your career?
Very important, because I was very young. I was 18, 19 years old, and he gave me the chance to play in the first team of FC Utrecht. Fantastic, because I think Erik ten Hag is a coach who push always to the limit. He's hungry, he wants to win, he's a winner, and me, I like that. I think I am also similar. I'm also a winner. I want to learn every day, and so yeah, I think it's a good match. I'm also really excited to be here. I really can't wait to start, and I can promise them that I will give everything what I have.
What an interview. Amrabat sounds like he's ready for war. He is ready to play for Manchester United. Everything he said makes you feel like you want to see him play immediately. You want him to be on the pitch right now. You want to watch him play because he is ready for battle. In that midfield, I think he's going to be a really, really important player for us going forward. I can really see him being one of the better players that Manchester United have signed in this summer transfer window. And I think lots of fans will agree. He is going to be very, very important for Manchester United going forward. Clearly, when he opened up about his wait for Manchester United signing him, 3 long months he had to wait. Whilst Manchester United were getting their finances in order, he waited patiently. Now, Amrabat deserves a medal just for being that patient, and you can see the passion he has to play for Manchester United, and the link that he has with Erik ten Hag is going to be great. He already trusts what the manager is doing and what his style of play is, and he believes that he's a winner just like Erik ten Hag. And the final thing he said about not doing his talking in interviews but on the pitch, what an amazing response that was. And that is what you want to hear from every single player, and Jadon Sancho should be taking a leaf out of that book. We need more players like Sofyan Amrabat who are really passionate about playing for Manchester United and ultimately want to win. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. You are watching the Man United Streamer channel by the fans for the fans.